I welcome Professor Dr. Ahmad Abdel Tawwab, Professor of Linguistics at Manufia University. Professor, you wrote an article last week about the role of scientific research and how scientific research is considered to be the gateway for sustainable development. And you did put some criteria that we need to pay attention to, because this is the future of Egypt.
Absolutely, Tagreed. This is, as you mentioned now, this is probably could be the cornerstone for our country. Scientific research, and we talked last time about digitalization of the universities and how to change our universities to be smart. But let me just explain that to our viewers, because we would like to put that in a very simple way. And in a nutshell, let me just tell you that scientific research means to have the knowledge. And we were talking before about digitalization, which means to acquire technology. Then if we have the knowledge with technology, then you have the power. If you have the knowledge, you have the power. So scientific research, in a simple way, it means that we are observing something in our life, and then we analyze it, and then we come up with conclusion. Egypt is determined to move to and on the right track when it comes to the scientific research. Few days ago, I read that there was a meeting between the president and the prime minister, and they were talking about how to create and to build up a number of technological research centers. And these are expected to be in the administrative capital. So there is an expectation to have a valley of technology, and there is also an expectation to have the higher college for scientific researches, to include all the researchers in Egypt, and at the same time to connect that with the international researchers. But again, as I mentioned before, and as I used to make in our program, numbers reflect facts. And so when it comes to numbers, we have to understand that we have in Egypt 130,000 researchers are registered in the governmental institutions. Egypt is dedicating around from 12 to 14 billion pounds a year. But this is not enough. It just represents something like less than 1% of the total budget of Egypt. So I think that based on what had been discussed before in the meeting, there was something like a strong plan to move forward regarding the scientific research. As I mentioned, valley of technology in the administrative capital, and at the same time, research centers in every governorate, not just in Cairo, the capital, but in every governorate. There is a plan also to increase the budget and the funding for the research. And there's something that is very critical, that is certain initiatives to sponsor research processes in our countries. I read that there is an initiative that is called the Initiative for 1 Million Programmer, Mubadarat and Million Mubarmij.
Yes.
And this includes how to develop and how to qualify the fresh graduates to work in the field of programming. There is another initiative, it's called Mubadarat Sana'iyat Masr, Egypt's Craftsmen Initiative. And this is quite a bit critical as well, because it's related more or less to the scientific research, because there is a plan as well to focus and to shed lights on the vocational training, the technical education as well, because this is part and parcel of the whole process of the research, the scientific research. And based on such initiative, there is a very strong plan to qualify the craftsmen in Egypt in order to increase their level of competitiveness. We would like to also increase their value, not just in Egypt, but outside Egypt. We would like to create a strong connection between all the researchers in Egypt and at the same time abroad, because at the end we are trying to create different job opportunities. Yes. We wanted to be able to do that back again to square one unless we have the scientific research, which could be probably the basic element for the development of our country at the end.
Yes, definitely there is a sense of coordination on behalf of different bodies and different ministries all over the country. And here comes a sense of also integration and a sense of coordination between the Ministry of Higher Education and the Ministry of Education. As you said, yes, we need to reach out to the brains outside home. and make use also of the ideas and of the creativity and innovation of Egyptian expats. How can we reach those minds and let them be like hands-on if we're talking about scientific research in the country?
I think that this is a very critical point as well, because at certain moments, we are building now something which is called database for all the researchers and all the Egyptian labor inside and outside. It's a great decision to have a Ministry of Immigration represented by the Minister of Immigration, as a matter of fact, because what we want to do here is just to make a network for all Egyptian expatriates.
What we see here are research centers in different universities all over the country, and those came according to directives of the president that scientific research is considered to be now like a priority, and that we need to focus on scientific analysis, and our ideas would be applicable on scientific basis.
And as you said, applicable. So that means we would like to connect the research with something practical and with something that could be applied. And if we just look at the global experiences, we can find different major companies in the world. They applied the scientific research in their applications in education sector, in medical sector, and also they connected that with the investment process and with the economic scale. And in this way, we can find a connection again between the comprehensive development from one hand and scientific research on the other hand.
Yeah, what is really gives us a sense of optimism is that you find also not only universities all over the world, but our renowned universities as well are starting to link this sense of science, and at the same time link them with also our national projects. So this opens new opportunities for the youth. I had all the honor to interview His Excellency, the President of Cairo University, Dr. Mohammed Othman Al-Khusht, who outlined in his interview how can we make use of scientific research and apply scientific research to the different developmental projects all over the country, how to train the students themselves to think practically and to think on scientific basis. This is very important because it needs awareness and it needs at the same time training. Let's watch.
أنا لما كنا إحنا بننافس على رئاسة جامعة القاهرة، إحنا في طريقة دلوقتي حضارية، اللي عايز يقدم لرئاسة جامعة القاهرة يتفضل يقدم رؤيته وهينفذها ازاي ويقابل اللجنه السباعيه بتاعت المجلس الاعلى للجامعات. فانا كنت مقدم رؤيه لتطوير جامعه القاهره. فالرؤيه دي بتعتمد في احد اركانها على ربط التعليم والبحث العلمي بالمشروعات القوميه وبالاقتصاد القومي. لان انا يعني خلاص بقى المفروض ينتهي عصر ان الرسائل بتتحط في الادراج. ان البحث بيتعمل من اجل البحث. يعني بعمل مشروع بحثي وينتهي ويتصرف عليه ويتنشر.
لما هتستفيد بيه استفيد ده واطبقه، ده المهم.
ايه قيمته؟ كانوا زمان كانت النغمه يقول لك الاوتبوت، المخرجات. هل البحث ليه مخرجات؟ يقول لك ليه مخرجات، يبقى بحث كويس. لا، مش الفكره مش مخرجات بس، في حاجه اسمها المخرجات دي هل هيتم امتصاصها في مشروعات وحل مشاكل ولا لا؟ لان البحث ممكن يبقى ليه مخرجات اي نعم، بس خلاص ما هو برضه مش مفيد، ما تحققش في الواقع. فهنا أنا كنت حريص على أن الفجوة الموجودة بين البحث العلمي وبين المخرجات وبين الواقع نردم الفجوة دي.
So, as His Excellency, President of Cairo University, Dr. Mohammed Othman Al-Khusht, has outlined in his exclusive interview with Nile TV on how to link scientific research. How can we link scientific research today with problem solving? Because this is what is important, and this is how scientific research can be applicable. And he said that no more research papers in the drawers. Yes, this is what we really want.
And this is extremely important point, as a matter of fact. And as you said before such an interview, you said very critical word is awareness of the people.
Yes.
We would like also to change the mindset of the people, because sometimes they just confine the idea of the scientific research on just papers. We would like to get out of the box and to apply that with the comprehensive development that is currently happening in our country. We would like to connect that with the educational system, as I mentioned, with the medical sector. From the other hand, we would like to see that also reflected on industrial sector. And look to such examples that happen, for example, outside the country. In a country like South Korea, when they are just trying to upgrade certain electronic applications, it happens from the scientific research as well. There is also, as I mentioned, there is a strong and a very, very strong desire, if I would say that, to change the culture and the mindset of certain people. For example, that we have in our educational system, we are talking about Kulliyat al-Qimma, the colleges of the top. And then in this way, we are just deleting everything related to creativity and innovation. Nowadays, we would like to make that based on creativity, innovation, because this is the only option that we have. There is nothing that is called the colleges of the top outside Egypt. There is nothing called college of the top and colleges of the down.
Yeah, and notice that the motto of the World Youth Forums is like create and go ahead.
Right.
So
right.
the country is moving towards creativity.
That is
when we take
right.
creativity as a slogan, it means that we believe in
right.
this step. So it is fortunately happening. Professor, if we talk about the steps that we can see, the sense of partnership between Egyptian universities today and international universities in the new administrative capital, we are going also to have this sense of broadening
right.
the outscope.
Absolutely. There is a determined plan to expand such universities, such research centers. I just read a report before I come here. There is a plan to inaugurate very soon Al-Alamin University, one more university, it's Al-Galala University. The Japanese Egyptian University in the administrative capital is expected to be inaugurated soon. There is a center for the Canadian colleges to be inaugurated in the administrative capital. The main purpose of all of that is just to have that sense of hybrid and merging the local education with the international one. Because at the end, we would like to reach the global and standard, the global level when it comes to education and research ranking. There is something that is very important as well, that is the ranking of the Egyptian universities.
Yes.
We were talking before that there is a challenge here when it comes to ranking. We would like to increase that. That wouldn't happen unless we have a strong and a solid plan for scientific research. By using that way, we can just move forward. So there is a plan as well to connect Egyptian researchers inside the country by using different programs, scholarship programs, and external fellowship programs. And that what happened before, as I mentioned in the last episodes, there is a plan to send thousands of Egyptians outside the country to be educated and to come back again and to help in building the country. This is probably the optimal way. So if we just talk about scientific research again, it's closely connected with the concept of digitalization. As I mentioned before, it's all about knowledge and it's all about technology. And as you said, it should be applicable. I do remember one of the older proverbs that says, I hear and I forget, I see, I remember, then I do, I understand. So it's more about involvement. It's more about interaction. It's more about how can we connect our research processes to be applicable and to be helpful for our community at the end.
Yes, this sense of application needs also extending a hand. And again, it's a matter of awareness to the community because they need to be believers in the importance of scientific research. They need to know that when it comes to problem solving and taking into consideration a problem solving on scientific basis, then it's a totally different story. So we need to address our problems through scientific research. Isn't it time that we would also make use of the youth awareness and creativity in that respect. And you're a professor at university, so you deal every day with the youth, and you're a role model for them. How about establishing like a fund for creative ideas and for scientific research? Is that applicable?
Well, it's absolutely applicable. But again, to read that youth and youngsters, they need role models. We were talking before coming on air about the player Mohamed Salah and what he had achieved before. And so they need a role model, and they need someone who can just aspire and giving them the inspiration.
Yeah.
They need that sense of passion. It's more about how can they see that sense of passion on their professors, on their role models, because at the end they wouldn't move unless if we have that sense.
Yes,
Then,
we will move again and talk more about Salah. Salah is an inspiration. He's not only a role model, he's really inspiring, and he inspired youth not only in Egypt, but all around the world. We'll be back to Mo, the Egyptian king. But let's first see more on this report and the link to scientific research, and we'll be back.
The scientific journal Nature published a report saying that Egypt is among the countries with the highest increase in scientific research production in the world in 2018. Emerging economies showed a significant increase in scientific research production for 2018, according to estimates of the publishing services company Clarivate Analytics. Egypt and Pakistan topped the list, where Egypt achieved a rise of 21%, while Pakistan's increase reached 15.9%. The analysis on scientific research included 40 countries with at least 10,000 research papers in their database. The year-on-year forecasts are based on the number of scientific research papers published between January and August, due to a gap between the publication of papers and their appearance in the database. During his speech at the National Conference for Scientific Research in March, President Fattah al-Sisi stressed the role of science and scientists to overcome challenges to Egypt's development. The President said deserves with the number of population and the capabilities of its diverse people. He continued to say that the government will do all that can be done to push this trend, and the state will provide all real support to the research community. In August 2017, al-Sisi noted that the government is sparing no effort to support scientific research, adding that over the past 3 years, the governmental expenditure on scientific research increased from £11.8 billion to £17.5 billion, an estimated 47% increase. The governmental support to scientific research is ongoing through the establishment of a number of national projects, as the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and the Zuwail Scientific City, in addition to the Egyptian Japanese University. Al-Sisi explained at the time, and also the President stressed that Egypt is currently in dire need of scientific research for the sake of improving health, medical and agriculture sectors, calling on Egypt's NGOs to participate effectively in scientific research. President al-Sisi labeled 2019 an education year. This comes in line with the vision of political leadership to make of Egypt a regional hub of excellence in the field of higher education and scientific research.
So, talking about other good news, definitely this week has been a week of good news. Egypt hosting the African Cup 2019, and the inspirer, Mo, the Egyptian king. Salah wins Best African Player. So, two pleasant news for Egypt, as the country will host the African Cup 2019. Mohamed Salah received the Best African Player of the Year. Congratulations for Egypt. And always we say, forward ever Egypt, forward ever Mo, the king. What's the secret behind the king?
I think it's all about determination to make an achievement on the ground.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah, in my humble opinion, he's not just a role model. He's a phenomenon. He's a phenomenon on the social level. He's a phenomenon on the cultural level. He is one of the most powerful soft power for Egypt in Egypt's modern history. We had before a lot of soft power in different fields. In the science, we have, for example, Dr. Ahmed Zouil. In the art, we have also someone like Kulthum, the singer.
Yeah.
Then in the sports nowadays, we have Mohamed Salah. In my humble opinion, he represents a sense of determination, a sense of passion. He is just making something. Just a few days ago, I read a report on The Guardian, the British newspaper. They were saying that Mohamed Salah is the best model to represent his culture, his religious background to all the British people. What he has done, Mohamed Salah, up until now, number one, he limited the degree of racism among the British fans. They are all unified on him nowadays. They are making songs for him.
Right.
This is the first one. And the second one is, and this is something fabulous, he did succeed to change the image of Islam in the Western circles. He's making something that is great, not just as outside, but I also heard from some of his neighbors in the tiny town in the Sioux that he's making great and making major projects to serve and to help his country. See?
And his country.
So this is the genuine role model that we really need nowadays, and this is what the youngsters are looking for. They are looking for a positive example that can follow suit. And I think that Mohamed Salah, this is the powerful secret for this man.
Yes, let's know more secrets from one of the youth, Dr. Islam Abdel Rahim, Benha University. Dr. Islam, Professor Sharaf Eldin is saying that Salah is an inspirer and he did transcend barriers, and his secret is that he makes achievements on the ground, and at the same time that he is considered to be one of the soft power models nowadays, or in Egypt's modern history. Your reading?
Good evening, Mrs. Tagreed. Good evening, Dr. Ahmed. I'm really honored and privileged to go live with both of you as two shining stars on Nile TV International Channel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, regarding today's topic, there is a lot of give and take speech that can be said about the future of scientific research in Egypt. But in order to talk about the future, we need to analyze the status quo of the scientific research.
We're talking about Salah, my dear. Mohamed Salah, and how he is a soft power role model today. Yeah.
Excuse me, the sound is not really working well.
How do you see Salah as an inspiring role model for the youth today?
Of course, as you have said, Mrs. Tagreed, Salah is an inspiration and the pride for all Egyptians. He is a current and real example of hard working. I believe that Salah is a man who invaded Britain with love and hard working. Salah is great. Salah is a magnificent and eminent figure of all Egyptians, and a second-time wonder in football life. And he is a source of inspiration. He is a source for all Egyptians to work hard, to do their best, and have a great ambition, a great passion for what they love, and pursue what they love and what they do till they reach their great accomplishment.
Yes, definitely he is, Dr. Islam Abdel Rahim from Benha University, and thank you so much for your insight on Salah. And Mohamed Salah remains really iconic for the youth nowadays because they see him as inspiring. What is definitely is a secret is that he enters people's heart. You feel that he's your brother, and you cannot but like love him and go for him, and like, way to go, Salah. Let's watch.
قصة نفضل عنها نحكي ونغني ليها طول سنين، ما فيش نجاح من غير ما تتعب، وهو قدوة ملايين. خطوة مع بين ايديه وصوتنا عالي مسمعين وبلعبه كل الناس بتحلف اجوان شمال واجوان يمين وفي كل خطوة مع بين ايديه وصوتنا عالي مسمعين وبلعبه كل الناس بتحلف اجوان شمال واجوان يمين صلاح
So, if we're talking about role models, it's very important for the youth today that they would have a role model and an inspiring figure to look up to.
Right.
And this would also lead us to talk about training the trainers or the coaches, because they see their professor as a role model. They see definitely Salah also as a role model. But professors and those whom they are communicating with on daily basis as well have a very important role to play.
Right, and I think that Salah now is just sending a message to everyone that if you would like to be professional in your field, then you should exert efforts, you should train yourself, you should be exposed to different professional backgrounds, you should be exposed to different opinions, and we should learn from our mistakes. Salah track, as a matter of fact, he faced different challenges at the beginning when he was in Egypt and then when he traveled abroad. This is the takeaway that we can get from his story. The lesson that we can learn, that never stop, you should never stop, you should never get back, and you should never give in. But you should continue on your track in order to get your objective. So this is, I think, that's why Salah is the role model. That is why Salah is just telling everyone in his community, yes, you can do that. And I strongly believe, and probably there is something very important to mention here regarding Salah's story. It is the right time now, it is the high time to find and to devise different strategies to explore talents in our society. Because I strongly believe, and I'm very convinced about that Egypt does have a lot of talents. Egypt has a lot of talented people, skillful people, but they need to be explored. And if we have a specific and certain strategy to explore the talents and the skillful people, then you're gonna find a lot of thousands of Salahs in every field, in the arts, in medicine, in science, in sports, in media, I mean, in education. Egypt has a lot of talents that need to be explored.
Yes, definitely. Egypt continues to dazzle the whole world, and Salah as a role model is really a phenomenon that we really need to study. And it is always that way. When you have a passion for what you're doing, you will definitely make a difference. Let's watch.
Most mystique, Pharaoh fell from heaven wearing number 11, makes defense God's weak. Liverpool's Messiah set an anthem on fire. Fight against Egyptian diamonds, finds you in the rough, but banging in for without trying, keep us just give up. 'Cause nobody is better than the king. When the whole of football singing Mo Salah, he's causing havoc every single week. With every scouser rocking, you're never gonna stop him, my boy.
So you're never gonna stop him. You're never gonna stop him because he is determined to succeed,
Right,
and that Mo has a goal.
Right.
That is definitely a long-term goal. Also, he's doing what he's doing with passion, and there makes the difference.
And there is also something else. It's more about personal behaviors that he is just trying to adapt all the time. He's so humble, so modest. Look to the way when people would like to take snapshots with him in different places. You never feel that there is a gap between him as a superstar in his field and at the same time the audience. You do not feel that. You feel like he's one of the group, he's one of the teamwork. And when it comes to the teamwork culture, I think that this is what we should talk about in the upcoming episodes, because I think that one of the secret elements for Salah's successful story, it is how to adapt yourself to be or to have the culture of the teamwork and to be able to contribute and to train yourself and to overcome all the challenges that you probably might face. Life is not easy, but you have to go because this is the only option that you have.
Yes, and one of the youth, so we took the opinion of a gentleman. Now we have with us Dua, and we were discussing with Professor Abdel Tawwab more about his opinion of the inspiring Mo, what's the secret, and how the youth today need to have like inspiring role models. What do you think?
Okay, hello Dr. Ahmed, hello Mr. Great.
Hello dear.
Actually, it's been a pleasure to see you, Dr. Ahmed, on Nile TV today. Thank you. Actually, since we are talking about Muhammad Salah as a model of inspiration, so first I'd like to congratulate all the Arab world and the Egyptians in specific for Salah's winning as the best football player. Salah actually is a case in himself. I feel that he is an honorable model. Salah actually is an excellent model of inspiration for his youth and his people. So his great success returns back to his insistence to be like this. He actually has a goal and he works hard in order to achieve that. So it's all about his determination and will at first. So I feel that he is a source of pride to the whole Arab world. Salah is not only making history to himself, but also to his dear country, Egypt. He inspired the youth and the children to be ambitious. Nowadays, a big number of children and young youth say, I'd like to be like Mo Salah in the future. They want to be successful and popular like him.
Dua, so if Mo is hearing you right now, what would you tell him?
I'll tell him thank you so much for sending like a message of hope and ambition to the whole world. You say that nothing is impossible and you can achieve your dream if you have the will to do so. If you work hard in order to achieve your dream, nothing impossible, nothing will prevent you if you have the determination and the will to do so. So I'm so proud to be Egyptian, and I'm so proud of Muhammad Salah as an excellent model of inspiration to the whole world, not actually to Egyptians or to Arabs, to the whole world in general.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dua Al-Qurashi from Sohag University, sharing with us with her views how inspiring Salah is. So Mo is still making history making, and God bless him, God bless Egypt, and God bless all those who make our flag like fly high. So we are always saying, God bless Mo, God bless Egypt, God bless the Egyptians, God bless those who are really working hard to make the country better and to leave a legacy behind and to have a belief in what they are doing. A final message, Professor.
I think that the bottom line that we can get from Salah's story is never give in, never give up. You should work hard, you should show your passion, you should have the strong determination and the strong will, because this is the only option that you have if you'd like to get successful. And I think that Egypt, again, does have a lot of talents that need to be explored, and I'm very optimistic about the future of Egypt. As I have seen now what's happening, I think that Egypt will be always a producer for all talents to the whole world in different fields.
Definitely Egypt will. Long live Egypt. I thank very much Professor Dr. Ahmad Abdel Tawwab, Assistant Professor of Linguistics at Minufeya University.